Peri came to her room and went to be fresh. Then she came out after being fresh and her eyesight went to Rahul's gift. It was a small box which was wrapped with a beautiful gift wrapping paper and it was written on Dear Peri. She picked up the gift and opened it and saw that it was a small jeweler box. She smiled as soon as she opened the box and she saw that there was a beautiful silver-colored bangle. She take it in her hand and started looking her. She wears it in his wrist and messages Rahul. Thank you so much Rahul for such a beautiful gift and it is really nice. Rahul was online at that time, so he replied her, anything for you. Peri also sent him a smile emoji in reply and said good night. Next day was Sunday. She was in her room all day. Neither did she have breakfast, nor lunch, nor dinner. She did not come down all day, so Vikrant went to meet her in her room. Vikrant knocked the door. Who is it? If someone has brought food, then please go away with it. I do not have to eat anything, Peri said. I'm child, Vikrant said. Peri opened the door. Peri, Dad, what are you doing here? Vikrant saw that the room was scattered. Garbage on the bed, garbage on the floor, everywhere was garbage. What is this, Peri? This is your room or a garbage bin, Vikrant said to Peri. Dad, I will fix it all, Peri said to Vikrant. This is the second time you behave like this and this time you have crossed the limit. Vikrant said to Peri. Dad, Peri said to Vikrant. I will not hear anything, this behavior of yours. What is this, Peri? Vikrant said to Peri. Dad, I am doing some work in laptop, Peri said to Vikrant. Okay, if you are doing some work, but Vikrant said to Peri. Vikrant grabbed the Peri's hand and took her down with him and sent a servant to clean the Peri's room. He seated the Peri on the dining table and asked servant to bring food. As servant brought the food, he took some food in the Peri's plate and asked him to eat it. Peri opened her mouth to say no. Vikrant made a bite and put it in her mouth, and he started to say to her, then I used to do the same thing, so your mother used to feed me like this too. Peri started eating silently after hearing this. After feeding Peri, Vikrant explained to him, listen Peri, you are grown up, so you are intelligent and smart too, but this type of behavior is not right. It is like a child behavior, so today you promise me whatever will happen with you, you will never react like this. Promise me. Vikrant extended his hands toward Peri. Peri extended his hand too and promised him. Sometimes later, Peri and Vikrant went in his room and fell asleep. Next day, when the Peris woke up and got ready wearing a formal dress and came down with some files and paper and started having breakfast. Vikrant and Umesh is already leave for office. She finished his breakfast and went. She leave without inform anyone. Peri came a little away from home and called a cab and said, Singhania and group of companies. Driver nodded high head and said yes. She sat in it and left. After some time, the cab was stopped in front of Singhania and group of companies. Peri paid the driver and the cab went. It was a very big building of 12 floors and was written on a very big board in a big letters, Singhania and group of companies. The Peri was watching all that. The Peri come in the lift and landed on the top floor. She was walking in view of her file and paper that she collided with a man coming from the front and fell on the ground, and together all his papers and files also fell on the ground. Peri looked at the man angrily and said, you can't walk. The man wore a Google and an elegant suit. He did not even look once towards the Peri and left. Peri stood up and started handling his file and paper and said, the staff members here are such that they do not know what the boss will be like. Don't know so much about what. Peri went into a waiting area and saw there are many people who waiting in a room for their turn. She became nervous and sit on a seat and close her eyes. She feel relaxed. After some time, a lady came out of that cabin and started shouting, do not know what kind of questions are asking, stupid man. After a while, all the people went one by one. Some were angry, someone was irritated. Coming out, the turn of the Peri came. Peri was looking little nervous, but she smiled and get up proper her dress and went into cabin. Peri, may I come in, sir? Peri saw a man